In this episode, I am going to discuss the value in just being ourselves. I think this is super important to understand that society is having it become acceptable for us to pretend to be humans that we are not. Follow trends, follow people. And the conversation that I want to have is just to bring awareness to the unique beauty of being yourself. Your individual qualities that make you you are so priceless out in the world because it's through your own personal experiences that you can offer another human being education to help them along their journey. So often we're afraid to be ourselves because we fear judgment. We judge ourselves and we fear what others will think about us and our story. And when we can eliminate that pattern of thinking, we can begin to grow into humans that we want to become. Really, honestly, you just become free. And who doesn't want to be free? I mean, people are holding themselves in this place of suffering, but people are holding themselves in this place of suffering. It's very important to understand that no one is holding you there. It is only you that shapes your reality. So to understand that power that you have to change your reality, that's an incredible place to be. But a lot of people say, well, how do I do that? Like, how do I take back that power? That's kind of everything that I talk about. To take back your power, you have to adopt love into your life. And what is love? Love is truth. So if we speak our truth and we become the truth and we do not fear judgment of others because we do not judge ourselves, we can become who we are. And we can live freely and walk the streets and meet people without the fear of judgment, because we have to understand there's 8 billion people on the planet. Not everyone's going to like you because we don't know where other people are at along their evolution, because what I'm talking to is an evolution of self. To grow, to really break free from that of which holds you back. Who doesn't want that? And I'm going to tell you, it's free to obtain this. It's absolutely free. It's not easy. It's difficult because we haven't practiced doing something for quite some time. So anything that we begin is always difficult in the beginning for the first little while. But anything we practice, we get good at. And once we get good at alleviating ourselves from fear, anxiety, stress, trauma, you really grow into this thing of love, this being of love. And you combat fear, anxiety, stress, and trauma with love. So love is a beautiful thing because it's far more than the feeling that we have been led to believe comes from an idea that our parents embedded in us through their understanding of love. Love is very personal. It's something that you have to arrive to on your own, because often the people that bring us into this world, they don't understand love. They were never taught how to love themselves. Therefore, the love or the idea of love that they teach us is one that they're trying to figure out or that they never figured out. They just witnessed what their parents went through. Often our parents saw their parents not have such a very close relationship because a lot of people were coming back from the war, and communicating about emotions was not something our grandparents did, for our generation. So we have this ability to do something different in our lives. But we first must understand how love has been translated to us, because that puts us in the present moment, right? To understand our past, we can be in the present moment. And then there's no blame and victim mentality of why you are where you are. It's not really your parents' fault. It's nobody's fault, because we're not really given the tools and the education that we need in the education system. And our parents weren't given that, and our grandparents weren't given that. But we have the opportunity in this life, with access to more information through social media platforms or podcast platforms or whatever it may be, wherever you're getting your information from, you have access to information that will help you grow. And I just offer this, I just share, like the things that I talk about in this podcast, I applied into my life. Learning about who I was after a 23-year drug addiction, I mean, I'm going to talk about that right now because I think it's important to understand that no matter how far you are along your journey, things can change for you at any moment. Because I was, 36 in a jail cell, a 23-year drug addict. And I kind of laugh about that now because I think about it. It was 4 years ago and I'm like, wow, like from the place I was to the place I am. Never mind the addiction, but let's talk about being in a place where I did not love myself. Because the addiction, the drugs, are what I consumed to allow myself not to feel the love I didn't have for myself. So I destroyed myself because that's what I knew how to do. Other people do it in other ways, with food, maybe with just self-sabotage. A lot of people are just their own worst enemy. They're so hard on themselves. They're the ones who destroy themselves. Other people use substances, absolutely, alcohol, sugar, caffeine, nicotine, whatever it may be, right? Anything to distract from that feeling that you do not understand within. So it's all really one and the same. But I had no idea what it meant to love myself. I was reading a book about a man who didn't understand how to love himself either. And he surrendered his love to Jesus. Now, your relationship with spirituality is personal for you. But I have finally figured out a way to talk about this. Because I'll tell you, I see religious organizations and I see how they work. And it doesn't really work for me, that model, right? But spirituality is very personal. And it's something that we are all connected to. But spirituality is something that you must find on your own. So when I was in that jail cell, I had actually been brought to a place, I had no connection with spirituality really before this. I didn't really understand what it was. But I was reading a book about a man who had spoke some words. And he spoke these words and his life changed. So I found that so interesting. I was like, wow, this guy has nothing. I had nothing. I was in jail. I was homeless. I lost my kids. I lost all the materialism. And then I lost myself. So that was actually a beautiful thing to happen to me, losing myself. The awareness that I had lost myself allowed me to reach for something external from me, but within me. It was one and the same. I spoke the words out loud for something inside of me to open up. For the longest time, I thought that something came inside of me. After I had spoke those words, I surrendered my love to Jesus. You can surrender your love to the universe. You can surrender your love to Buddha, to the earth, whatever you like. It's super personal to you. But when I did that, something moved through my body at such a high vibrational frequency that it felt like I was floating. And that feeling, I knew in that moment, was peace and it was love, like I had never understood before, because it was more than a feeling. It was an understanding of love and peace for self. So the next day, after that moment took place in the jail cell, I was streaming tears out of my eyes because I had this understanding of something so beautiful inside of me. And I was just homeless and, a liar and a cheat and just so down on myself, I just did not love myself. But after that happened, man, I connected to something more than myself. It was as if I tapped back into the source of love, the place that we all come from. We've arrived in this planet, or we've come back to experience a life on this planet with, many different facets trying to pull us away from ourselves, trying to disconnect from ourselves. That's what society is sort of built around, that everything we should value or everything we need is found externally from us. But when I spoke those words, I knew in that moment that everything that was priceless was found inside. Now, it meant that I had to do an immense amount of work after that, but what I was given was the awareness to love. I knew that it was real, and I knew that it was something I could believe in. And, I did speak the words, I surrendered my love to Jesus. I think it's interesting. Today is Easter, but I want to talk about this in the way that I've finally learned how to talk about it. Because I don't read the Bible. I have no real connection to religion. I was never demanded of me to go to church or to understand the Bible or anything like that. It actually just gave me clarity that, I'm a human being, a part of the human race, and I'm here to share love, time, and energy with those that need it. Individuals that are in a state of low vibrations, I'm able to share a high vibrational state because it was born inside of me again. It came up inside of me, and share that with my brothers and sisters. That's what it demanded of me. But if I am to look at Jesus, I will look at Jesus as a symbol of energy, of an individual who represented the truth, the love, and the light. So I can stand behind those three things because I do understand those three things. The truth, the love, and the light are one and the same. So that is a beautiful thing to understand. Like, you have an example of what you can become. So whatever Jesus did in his life, I wasn't there. I didn't witness it. But what I do know is that a miracle happened to me that day in that jail cell. And that's the truth. You know, I went from being a 16-year intravenous drug addict. Everything went in the needle. I overdosed 33 times. I was homeless. I was in such a dark, dark place. And there's no comparison. Your darkness is your darkness. If you understand the darkness, then whatever you're experiencing, I experienced it too. So we can associate through that understanding. But if you've been in the darkness and you know it, and you're looking for a way out, that was my way out. That was the truth, the love, and the light that allowed me to wake up. I mean, from such an incredible place, of an inability to love myself. And I think that's the best way to talk about it. Because there's a lot of people living with a lack of love for self these days. And we're trying all these things and nothing seems to be working. I'll do this course, I'll read this book, I'll try this trend, whatever it is. They're looking for something external from them to crack this code within. And I offer the thing that helped me, the phrase that helped me, because a man wrote it in a book and he offered that information to individuals who would choose to use it. Now, I'm not saying to do it the way I did it. I'm just offering you a perspective on asking love back into your life, however that looks for you. That is the connection to spirituality, love. It doesn't matter how you talk about it. It doesn't matter how it looks for you, because we don't need to judge each other on what their understanding of love is, as long as it's pure, the truth, the love, and the light. High vibrational state of being. High vibrational state of being does not know low vibrational states, right? We understand them because we went through them, but we would never practice that and share a low vibrational state with our brothers and sisters because that would hold each other back. And I really share this with you because to become yourself, you really have to be in a place of darkness because we're so confused about who we are and what to follow and what to believe in. And for me, I don't believe God is external from me. I believe I am a source of God. If we were all created in his or her image, then we are all pieces of God. We're all individuals, a part of a collective, which is why I can say we are brothers and sisters experiencing life here on this planet. But all of the pieces of God have come here to try and learn if we can connect back to the source of love and elevate this consciousness together. Imagine if that's how consciousness had to grow. It separated itself into all these little pieces to have this experience and to see it with free will if it would be able to come back to itself and witness the power of love. Now that's a beautiful thing. And I don't want you to think about that as something that can't be obtained, because that doesn't need to come through external sources such as religions or establishments. That happens within you. And when that happened within me, it gave me the ability to navigate love on my own terms, to understand it for myself, because I was able to know right from wrong. That being said, I made mistakes for 4 years. Just because I woke up out of a 23-year drug addiction did not mean all of the psychological behaviors and patterns that I had created over that 23 years were alleviated. But I was such a student of life and such a student of love that I wasn't going to give up, that I wasn't going to not pass this test, because this test was of myself. It was given to me. I asked for love to come into my life, which it did. So that allowed me to become a student of love. And I wasn't going to pass this one by because there was something so real inside of that. And I knew that that's who I wanted to be. That's what I was going to stand for, love. Such a beautiful thing. But the negative dark side of me was also reminding me how much it was teaching me for 23 years because I practiced it for so long. So we really have to understand that the darkness is what brings us to the light. Now, the light is what alleviates us from the darkness. So use the tools of empathy, compassion, understanding to allow yourself to navigate through an understanding of love. And that's probably the best piece of advice I can give you. Be kind to yourself. Like straight up, be kind to yourself. And if your mind is telling you that you're not good enough, which is ego, or other people are better than you, just tap your heart 3 times and remind yourself of who you are and remind yourself of where you come from, because you don't come from the mind that's found in the brain or in the head. You come from the mind that is found in the heart. And there is absolutely a mind inside of the heart. The heart has the consciousness. That's where the soul lives. So if we can just learn to think from our heart mind, then our mind won't confuse us with ego. You actually build a relationship with your egotistical self because you create a balance of self. You understand ego's function within you. But let's start simple. Let's just start simple. But I talk about ego because you have to understand why you don't feel good enough, or why you're not pretty enough, or why you're too old looking, or whatever it may be. That is ego telling you you're not good enough. You have the power to take back your own understanding of yourself and allow yourself to look at yourself in the mirror and use love as the tool. Love every part of yourself. I mean, if you're big, you're living a life in the experience of being large. That doesn't mean that you can't be the weight that you want to be. You first must love yourself in the moment. A lot of people are heavy these days. The food is filled with high sugars and high fats. We could blame the food, but that puts us in a blame and victim mentality, right? It doesn't allow us to love ourselves. We first must look at what attaches us to high sugar and high fat foods. What kind of feeling are we looking for in that food? To think that sugar is not an addiction, let me tell you, sugar is found in almost everything. Processed sugar. It's not good for you. It's injected into everything so that you do become addicted to it. It's very subtle, like caffeine, but it works very, very well. And sugar alters the vibrational state. So when I talk about love being a very high vibrational state, or being yourself, being free, living with peace, this is high vibrational states of being. So we eliminate low vibrational substances or sources. And by that I mean nicotine. For me personally, coffee, I've eliminated coffee, and geez, it changed I feel so much better. You have to become aware of everything, because if high vibrational states are what you're after, that feeling of just, you all know it. We've all been in those moments in life where it just feels so good, to be alive, to be with the people we're around, or just to be with nature, or to be in the moment. You know that feeling. Imagine living in that feeling, living in that moment, in the moment, all the time. And allowing life to still navigate its course through difficult lessons. But rather than fall into the low vibrational state of a difficult lesson, we actually smile and we bring it on and we say, okay, this is beautiful. Here's a wonderful lesson for me, because when something's hard, it gives me a valuable lesson. So I'm going to shift my perspective. I'm going to see this as another one of the opportunities I have in life to hold my vibrational state through low vibrational experiences. That is the power of love, but that is also the power of understanding who you are. And that's the thing that I'm talking about. Because when we look at trends and we look at brands and we look at even job titles, money, it's a tool to divide us, right? And it's something that we've been taught to value more than ourselves. I was like this too. I just put all my money into drugs because I valued the drugs to alleviate me from feeling or not being able to feel love for myself, connect to myself. So I would disconnect from myself using something external from me. Video games, social media. How many people are spending entirely way too much time programming their psychological patterns and behaviors in their mind through algorithms that are not good for you, that are encouraging you to idolize celebrities or money or somebody else's idea of success or somebody else's idea of beauty. I see a lot of girls these days changing the way they look. They're putting lip injections and altering their bodies in every way. Like, hey, no judgment, girl. Like, no, and guys, like, whatever, no judgment. But let me tell you something. I don't know if anyone ever told you that beauty is found within. True beauty is found within. And if you're surrounded by a community of individuals that see your worth and your value and your beauty that you possess inside that light frequency, then you could evolve past this idea that you would need to put lip injections or alter your body in any way to please somebody else. Because you don't need to please nobody. All you need to do is accept you for who you are in the vessel that you were born into. You got crooked teeth. You got, anything that society finds defective. Love every bit of it. Love it. It's part of your journey to roll along this experience with whatever you've got going on that other people don't like. Because if other people don't like it, that's something that they don't like about themselves. I mean, any human that would judge another human has something going on in their life. Maybe they've just never been given the tools and the education surrounding judgment, surrounding what it means to be themselves, and allow others to be themselves and learn from each other, not judge each other. I think of how many people that are coming into Canada right now from other countries. There's a lot of judgment from people that are living in this country, not just necessarily Canadians. Not just necessarily First Nations, not just necessarily immigrants that have been here for quite some time. Many people are judging each other based on what media outlets have planted an idea in their mind. For me, I take a look at an individual who has had an experience that brought them to another part of the world. You know what? I want to learn from you. What did you go through on your side of the planet? And you will find very quickly when you talk to these individuals that come from other parts of the world that the stories we're being told through media outlets are very much fabricated to fit a narrative that the media outlets or the businesses are trying to sell you on. So that's the power of connection. And that's what happens when you get to be yourself, is that you connect with no fear of judgment. Because you'll look at somebody and you'll smile at them and you won't be afraid to say hello. I mean, honestly, we're being brought up in a society where I even look at some people sometimes, like just to make eye contact, to check them, I get a feeling, I don't know, something will draw me to this individual to maybe I'm supposed to say hello to them. And that's the high vibrational state, right? You get this awareness to things, but they in their low vibrational state will immediately look away for fear of judgment or fear of conversation. And sometimes the feeling is so strong that I'll kind of make my way back into that individual's path and say something, and here there was this whole thing that they needed to tell me. And I don't even know these people. But it's just like that. Because that's what we're here to do. We're here to connect. We're not here to divide. And especially, we're not here to disconnect from ourselves, who we are. And love. I mean, you are a being of love. You've come back into this human experience and somebody taught you to be afraid of people, of things. Somebody taught that to you. You're not born with that. You're born with love. Even if your mother had a great amount of difficulty when you were in the womb, because I think we should talk about this. Some people's trauma happen within the womb, just when they were in an embryonic state. The low vibrational frequency of the mother energy was distributed to the embryo that was growing and developing within her. That low vibrational energy was passed on to the tiny human inside of the womb. So sometimes the energy field that we're carrying was given to us because of the difficult situation that we were born into. And that's okay. You can still make peace without knowing where your trauma came from, because you will ask love into your life, and love will lead you on a journey. And it will lead you on a journey to understand your past as education, to learn from it, and to be whoever you want to be in the present moment. That's very important. That's what being yourself is all about. You just be in the moment. And does that mean the people around you are going to change? Probably. If you don't like yourself and you're pretending to be somebody you're not, I question the people that you have around you. Because if you can't come to them and with this conversation for clarity or for perspective, then question the individuals you carry around you, because there are a community of people that are willing to hear people for who they are. I'm one of them. And I just started doing this podcast, I don't know, maybe 6 weeks out of jail, because I was compelled to share about the things that I went through because I thought it could help other people, because this is how I do it, right? And through this avenue, I have met a community of other individuals. So you can use social media tools for your benefit, or you can create algorithms that are going to be very detrimental to your growth. If you're an individual who has an Instagram account that doesn't serve your highest purpose, delete the Instagram account, delete the Facebook, delete everything, and start fresh. Because if you're building a new life, a new you, something you want to become, you need to let go of what does not serve you. And if you spent 20, 30, 40 years building up a life that does not serve you anymore, but you have a difficulty in letting that go, become very aware of that. Why are you going to carry and pretend that this life that took you 40 years to build up is what you want to take to the finish line? Because that's not who you are anymore, so let it go. It doesn't serve you, and that's okay, because what you rebuild will be so beautiful because it's authentic. It's your authentic self that will be born. I died twice in this life. Twice I've died in this life. And I'll tell you, death is an illusion. Like when the physical body deteriorates and that death happens, when we cross back over, we just go home. There's a light being inside of you. Some call it a soul, whatever you want to call it, but it's a light being. The light cannot be destroyed. It just transmutes into something else, and we go into another dimension, which is just pure love, because that's where we come from. So death in the physical life, though, is the death of ego. I'm going to say that. I guess I'm trying to think of that right now if I want to talk about it like that, but I do. Yeah, I do. I definitely do. I think it's ego that holds us in that low vibrational state, because we are the creators of our own reality. So if something tells us we're not good enough, that is ego. So ego, once you make peace with that, will offer you a place of stillness. And by making peace with it, I mean allowing that part of you to die. And nothing really dies, it just transmutes. It alchemizes into something else. So you're reborn, this flower, this blossom, where you understand your past has already happened. So you can't change it. And you won't change it, because it brought you to this point of awareness in this present moment, this new blossom. All of that had to happen to bring you to this place. So even with me, 23-year drug addiction, I had a lot of things that happened to me along that journey. I mean, being homeless on the street using needles ain't easy. And especially the self-sabotage that you instill within your mind. I mean, I lost my children. I lost love. They took it away from me because I was a drug addict. Stayed with me for quite some time. But you know what? That had to happen to bring me to a place where I could love myself. Because you know what? I could love my children today. Authentically. Wholly. Unabashedly. Absolutely. And that's really cool to be able to say. I'll be proud for my kids to meet me, And I don't have my kids back. So love, you'll have to be patient with, because everything in its right time. But the more of a student you become, the more the universe will align for you. Patience is a beautiful thing too. I don't want people to hear what I just said there and think, wow, 4 years and the guy doesn't have his kids back. Listen, the understanding of self takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. So it didn't happen overnight for me either. But I am in a place today where I've never been, because I kept practicing, because I didn't let the little things hold me back. And I know that I need to do this in my life so that when my kids do meet me, I'm going to be so happy for them to meet the guy that I am. I mean, I already am, to be honest with you, but I'm growing, and I'm not going to stop growing. And even when I get them, we're going to grow together. And when I mean get them, I just mean share space with their mothers and myself. I would never think of some egotistical way to go in and take my kids back. I would never do that. I understand the mistakes I made along my journey, and I will ask for forgiveness for the women that I put through such heartache, And I will thank them for taking care of my children while I was away trying to learn about myself and learn about love. And if they forgive me, well, that would be magical. But if they don't, I can appreciate that as well, right? I mean, I cause damage. So we have to appreciate that. Like it comes love as an understanding. That doesn't mean I don't love them, because absolutely I do. At one point in our lives, we made children together, you know? So we can never take that away from each other. So high vibrational states of being is what we share. And that's all I want to share in this life. And that's why I share this with you today. Never be afraid to be who you are. And if you're following people that are afraid to be themselves, then break free from that pattern, because you have that choice. And that is a very valuable tool along this journey of life, because the experience is not about success. It's not about beauty. It's not about money. It's about connecting with self, with the source of love, because you won't need none of that stuff when you do, because it'll come to you through understanding and through an avenue of your own creation, which is so beautiful. Like if you think about that, you make money on your own terms. You do what you love because you love yourself. So you know what you love. I'm going to leave you with that. So I appreciate you for listening to this podcast, and I appreciate you for your practice. All I do is share. I can only plant a seed or water a seed that was planted a long, long time ago. That seed of love that's within you. Just don't be afraid to ask for it to open back in your life. Please remember your power. Connect to spirituality on your own terms. First Nations do it out within nature, and they speak to nature, and they watch what the creation of nature offers them. It's an avenue, you know, and I share about that because it's friggin' beautiful. It's really, really beautiful to see nature and the connection we have to it. It's a conscious entity. It's a conscious source. We can be a part of that energy if we are aware enough to and appreciate it, you know, and we get out of our egotistical mind or our low vibrational states and think we're better than it, because we are not better than it. It is a conscious source that is trying to help us evolve. So if you're struggling with the humans around you, then please just go find a quiet place in nature and allow nature to connect back with you, and ask nature to hold the energy that does not serve you. If you find yourself in a low vibrational state, please go out to a quiet spot or whatever. Even the spots I do it in aren't that quiet, but I close my eyes and I ask the earth spirit to hold the energy that does not serve me. I ask the air spirit to take the energy that does not serve me. I ask the fire spirit to cleanse me of the energy that does not serve me. And I ask the water spirit to cleanse me of the energy that does not serve me. And sit with it. I mean, when you ask, you shall receive. But do that on your own terms and do it in your own way, because that way it has value. Because it's personal to you. So I just offer you things that help me along my life, because I love you so much. I just want you all to be in this beautiful state of understanding, so we can share this with our brothers and sisters, and we can stop the suffering around the world. Like, all this can change. We have the power, and it's my objective to help remind you of your power, but you first must be yourself and see your beautiful experience for everything that it is. My social media is Real Talk for an Unreal World. That's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and if you're watching on YouTube, you know it's on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, I would also ask at this point if you would please like and subscribe this video if you made it this far, and if you know, if you can find benefit in the things I say, it just helps me get this message out to more people. Like, that's all that really matters to me. It's not about popularity for me. I could care less, to be honest with you, but it is about raising the high vibrational frequency around planet Earth, and I need your help for that. So if you could like and subscribe, talk about the channel with your friends, or talk about the episode if it helped you, that would be great. There's also a lot in the previous episodes, but I feel I'm on a new frequency now. So things moving forward, I'm learning. I'm learning so much about myself. So I'm feeling good about what is to come. My Twitter is Real Talk, the number 4 Unreal. Sometimes I put stuff up there. It's cool. Again, it just boosts the algorithm if you like it. And even all my social medias. What I do with social media is I cut up the podcasts into 1 minute, 2 minute clips, and then I inject them into the algorithms just to kind of give people something to remember throughout their day. So that's kind of what my social medias are, but I don't live for my social media. I don't live for algorithms. I don't watch how it moves or whatever. No, like I just post when I post, and If it finds you, that's a beautiful thing, because you got to disconnect from your phone in order to really connect to yourself. So that's important, and I talk about that. My email is realtalkforanunrealworld@gmail.com, and we are moving much more into a public platform where we are bringing out these conversations back into communities and reminding people in a setting of human beings connecting with each other what we can do as a group. So that's coming to communities near you very soon. And if you would like to look in or have Real Talk for an Unreal World come speak at an event, please reach out to me through my email. Just remember, wake up every day with gratitude, because you're here. You're here, you're alive, you're beautiful just as you are, and you are a part of this evolutionary state that is going to affect the universe as we move into a higher state of consciousness through a higher vibrational frequency that we connect to within ourselves, and then we connect all the pieces back into one whole. So be grateful for that. You signed up for this. You know what I mean? Don't be hating on yourself, because this is something we all came back to learn. It's just everything we're trying to remember why we came here and unlearn this materialistic, egotistical way that somebody has decided was going to be good for all of us, when we know it is actually causing more problems than it is helping people. Much love, human beings. I love y'all. I appreciate you so much. Thank you.